And we do what we do for them. And President Trump and his administration has one gear forward. And he can't stop. We cannot even keep up with him. We've actually had to create a website called promiseskept.com just to keep up with the promises that he's kept since he's been elected. And, you know, when we talk about some of these things, going back from the beginning, it's only been almost 3 years. So when you talk about job-ending Obama-era regulations, when you talk about renegotiating NAFTA, something else that we were told could never be done, scrapping the Iran nuclear deal, telling the world to take a hike with their Trans-Pacific Partnership, and the Paris Climate Accord, proclaim Jerusalem as Israel capital, and move the embassy. The ISIS caliphate no longer exists, holding China accountable. And something that really doesn't get enough coverage are the 9,000 opportunity zones that will spur $100 billion investments in struggling communities that will help 35 million Americans. Bipartisan criminal justice reform. 146 federal judges and 2 Supreme Court justices. I don't want to be presumptuous, but there's going to be a third. God wills it, or 4. So just imagine what 4 more years can do for our country. And those are just some of the highlights. I just want to challenge you all to just think back for a second. Can you think of one other Republican candidate that could have accomplished half of the things that Donald Trump has been able to accomplish? The paradigm has definitely changed since then, because when you beat the Republican establishment, when you beat the Democrat establishment, when you defeat the globalist establishment, you don't make very many friends. But the political class is still alive and well, and they've been, preaching to us for decades about how we should be electing people who we deem as smarter than us, wiser than us, more accomplished than us, have more of the alphabet soup than we have ourselves, and really have convinced us over time to elect those people. Unless you're a media-approved Democrat, then of course they go to great lengths to cover up all of your transgressions, past and present. They'll cover up pictures with real anti-Semites, with real racists, and even rapists. And we don't really get that. I mean, remember Justice Kavanaugh? High school yearbook, really? Really? But when Donald Trump came along, I think the game has changed. Love him or not, no one can deny his love for his country, his countrymen, and his flag. So when he decided to bring this $1 trillion taxpayer-funded gravy train to a halt, as you can imagine, there's a lot of people that are going to be out there trying to prevent this re-election. They have weaponized the media. We now have censorship. We have rogue government agents. We actually have political persecution in our country. It seems that even in 2016, we had to face down the devil themselves when our young supporters, just wanting to go to a political rally, were physically and violently assaulted. But they kept coming back, and our crowds got bigger and bigger. I don't know if you've noticed, but our crowds are still growing. Because this is a movement, and if we stand together, we can restore cities, generate more wealth for the middle class, and deliver a generation of Black children from poverty. So I cannot stress to you enough that when you see your president, you are looking at the physical manifestation of Ephesians 6:11. He is the walking whole armor of God. And I can't think of any other Republican or his family that could have withstood this barrage of attacks, personally and professionally, and get stronger in the midst of it. So yes, he will continue to tweet. He will continue to criticize those who criticize him, because he will accept nothing less than success, because to him, failure is not an option. And turning your back on this country is unforgivable. So we believe that we have to give our country away because they cannot take it from us. We have constantly elected leaders over and over again, expecting a different result. So we have given away what we feel that we've lost. But all of these things can occur when good people do nothing. Your silence is consent. But you, and only you, are the cavalry. President Trump cannot do this on his own, as many people expect him to do. The media would have you believe that the Trump voter is just this faction of the Republican Party. They keep showing you this 35% baseline number, all the same stuff. But here's the reality. We have over 130 million phone numbers now. That is over 1.3 phones for every individual, every voter we need. Compared to 2016, where we had multiple voters for each phone number, this has been a growth by tens of millions. In 2020, we are going to send hundreds of millions of text messages, closing in on 1 billion text messages by the end. And these are staggering numbers, and it makes the political class, they get uneasy about it and they shake their heads, but we're doing it because we cannot risk the social media platforms blocking our messages. We cannot risk big tech censoring us, shadow banning us, and preventing the truth from getting to the American people. And this is why our early start is so important. So let me give you a good idea of how this data grows. Obama's list from 2008 to 2012 grew 55%. We're already 3 times more than that. The most amazing thing is that 96% of our donors turn out to vote. That means right now we're locking in those future votes that we need. This also improves the artificial intelligence models, which informs our targets, really letting us hone in to what we need to do next, and that's win. So to help achieve that goal, the Trump campaign, combined with the RNC, has launched, by the way, the RNC is now the president's platform, which is why we've rebranded it into Trump Victory. So when you see Trump Victory, that's the RNC, the president's infrastructure. And we have launched the Trump Victory Leadership Initiative, so you'll see the TVLI acronym. You'll be seeing a lot soon. That's our grassroots training program. I wonder where that came from. The program launched in June. We've already trained tens of thousands of volunteers across the country. And by November 2020, we'll reach 2 million volunteers. Now, I was really excited this morning. I had a conference call because we get updated on all of these things, and the excitement is out there. They would plan these training events for 50 people or so. 500 would show up. So these volunteers show great promise in the training, and they'll be tapped. The good ones will be tapped to become the Trump Victory Neighborhood Team Leaders. Interesting analogy there. And these team leaders will conduct their own trainings and organize even more events in their communities. Those are our super volunteers. And according to our research, the turnout is 15% higher in the neighborhoods that have a team leader. Do you have any neighborhood coordinators in here? Raise your hand. You all need to be our team leaders. So activating this turnout through this mechanism will be key to Texas' success in 2020. And this is why we prioritized all of this development and all of this training, because there's nothing more impactful than face-to-face with a voter. It's the best way to get them registered, to persuade them, and turn them out. And that is how we are going to win in 2020. So how can you help? Well, I'm glad you asked. Take out those phones you were told to put away. I'm going to give you a number, or write it down. And I want you to send a text message to 88022. And in the body of that text message, put Trump. 88022. So if you text Trump to 88022, you will automatically be plugged in to this massive organization. We've launched the Women's Coalition. We've launched Latinos Coalition. We have the African American Coalition coming next month. We're going to have a Workers Coalition. We're going to have Veterans Coalition. And I will tell you that we are launching coalitions at an unprecedented level. Republicans alone have never invested in coalitions the way that President Trump is. I'm talking millions of dollars. We are hiring people just to run the coalitions as individual campaigns, and it has been phenomenal. I don't know if you've seen the Women's Empowerment Initiative we had, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where we deployed 15 Trump surrogates all over the country. It received so much coverage, they were writing about it in other countries. So get plugged into the system, sign up for one of the trainings in your area, and be a part of this team, because we need you to help President Trump keep America and Texas great. Thank you so much. I think I'm taking questions, David.